It only ever came in the fall, just after school started, but before Thanksgiving. It depended on the weather, the moon, the harvest, and sometimes, just occasionally, on how we'd behaved that year. If we'd been good, if we'd eaten our vegetables, if we'd put our toys away, if we'd finished our homework, if we'd attended our doctor's appointments, if we'd paid our utility bills, our property taxes on time. We knew it was coming because of the music. The music always starts about a week before, usually near schoolyards and churches, farmers markets and libraries, anywhere that people gathered, where families showed up all together. The music is creaky at first, faint and on the wind, like it isn't quite real yet. That's when parents start locking the windows and doors. It's a small town. For most of the year, that's just not done. It's a small town. For most of the year, it's just not done. This week, though, any one of us who have lived there for longer than a year lock up everything. To be honest, we are really grateful for the new families moving in from the city, those who didn't know what we knew. They keep their doors open. They don't know what the music means. I'm not even sure if they can hear the music at all that first year. After the music, the smells come. Maybe a few days before it came. Cotton candy, glass shiny candied apples, caramel burning in the popcorn maker. Around now, we start keeping our pets indoors all the time. Nothing goes out after dark, that's for sure. It's usually around hunting season, you see, so people don't think twice about seeing the deer hung from trees at the edge of town. The new families, the city families, they don't see that these poor beasts aren't shot and gutted, that they hang from their own entrails rather than rope. And then, always on a weekend, always when the air is crisp and apples and leaves are falling freely from trees and we've all officially put away lawn chairs and covered our pools, it comes. The first time I saw it, I was 7. My sister and I were walking home after her band practice, and we heard the music through the trees. Before we knew it, we were at the steps of the carousel, the calliope playing loud and bright and joyfully from the center of the massive machine. It was old, probably the oldest thing in our town. Even though the paint was still bright and vibrant on the horses and carriages, it was chipping in places, making it look like some of the horses were missing ears or eyes. And I thought it was beautiful. My sister and I watched for what felt like hours, and just as we were starting to walk towards the carousel, about to step on, we saw the neighbors' kids get on the big wooden horses. The magic broke a little, something pulling through us and telling us to back away. I could have sworn I saw a snake trapped in the black horse's teeth, writhing and bleeding out all over the floor, staining the boards. My sister says she saw a blue jay in between a team attached to a carriage, wings trapped in the pair's teeth. We ran back to the tree line, the square with the carousel backed onto our house, and we were so close to home. When we hit the first willows, we heard the screams start. And when we turned back, more kids had shown up from our classes and from our guides' troops. Adults too, the mayor and her husband, and the old couple that made the best jam. As they stood on the carousel, the horses seemed to shift. Their shadows moved, grabbing at hands and legs, wrapping around hair and necks. The horses, from what we can remember, didn't move at all. But the shadows dragged people to their mouths, open into gaping maws, ready to pull people in. As the screams got louder, so did the music, droning everything out, the machine spinning faster and faster, lights and blood turning into a kaleidoscopic blur. We bolted into the house yelling for our parents. When they finally woke up, they wouldn't let us tell them the story. They wouldn't let us get anything out. We were grounded for a month for going out at all that night, for walking and not calling them to pick us up. For the rest of that year, we stayed in the front yard. And after Labor Day, we never played in the backyard until Christmas. In the spring, the water grates at the river backed up, clogged with bones and flesh. It never made it to the papers, and the bones were all burned at the dump. This year, the music has already started. Several new families have moved to town, bringing their grandparents, their pets, their children. And when they ask, we tell them the candy sweet smells are coming from the bakery for the market. Just wait a little while longer, and they can try the treats themselves.